Welcome back to the So-Called Experts. Yes, I'm Phil Davis, one of the So-Called Experts, and I'm here with you.
Hello there, I am Rafe Griffin, and
Yes.
Apologies for the sound quality last week.
Yes.
It's amazing what happens when you just forget to put on one setting, what impact that has.
It had a tremendous impact.
Well, if you're going to do it properly. That's what I say all the time.
You really did do a good job of it. I was listening to it in the car on the way home, as I often do, just to check how bad I was. And sometimes I couldn't even hear it, but hopefully it's working. Is this working now, Rafe?
Yes, it's working.
It's working. That's brilliant. We, of course, like to talk about football and all its wonderful qualities in Brisbane, the Brisbane Flight Centre Premier League and the Capital Leagues and whatever else we can think about. And we've got a full round from last weekend.
We do, starting with a Friday night game that we had last Friday night.
Yeah, I had a terrific round of tipping last week. Absolute cracker.
And on Friday night,
Yep.
it was Logan Lightning, 6 of the best
Yep.
against Wk17. Blake Kearns turned up on the team sheet and roundly scored 4 goals.
Yeah, well, that was unexpected, wasn't it?
Maybe not that he scored 4 goals, but the fact that he turned up on the spreadsheet, on the top score sheet. So there were 4 of them that went over to the US.
Yeah. Are they all back?
3 of them are back because Tommy Torshock's there.
Yeah.
Blake Kearns and Ryan Meskel is the backup keeper at the moment. Blake Kearns, we're talking about that these boys went over. It was near St. Louis that they went to university. Can't quite remember the name of it. Clark and Hare. I was over in Chicago last year and I almost made a visit down to go and watch them one day until I realised it was a 5-hour drive, and after a 25-hour flight decided that probably wasn't the best idea. But Blake was the player of the tournament in that competition, and I think they actually won their division and sort of made it to the state finals, but dipped out, or the national finals, but dipped out later on. So obviously had a great season over there and now capitalising that, at least in his first game back for Logan.
Did you say to someone, "Show me the way to St. Louis"?
I don't even know that song. I went through Amarillo, though.
Yeah, I know you did. You also went past that corner from that horrible Eagles song.
Take it easy in Winslow, Arizona. Anyway, that was 9 months ago now. No one wants to hear about my USA trip anymore.
Well, I'm just very proud to say that I tipped UQ to win that game 2-1. I think UQ are in a bit of trouble. They might even get relegated.
Well, yeah, it's on the way, on the cards now, too far behind.
Yeah, I was looking at the club championship and they're both in trouble now. North Pine are gone and UQ are probably gone, but what a great result for Logan, and that really puts the cat amongst the pigeons.
It still does.
And they're about 1 point behind someone that's just above them. I think they're 4 points out of the top 4 from memory, so great win for Logan. And, it's good to score a lot of goals. It's a real confidence builder. So congratulations to Logan on that win.
Absolutely. We'll go through the table later on, but speaking of the table, Peninsula have rocketed into second place after a 1-0 win against Rochedale on Saturday night, and you were down at AJ Kelly Park.
I was. I believe they needed a 4-goal turnaround to go into second place. Peninsula won 1-0. I was out there at AJ Kelly Park.
Don't get ahead of yourself, all right?
There was a little bit of, a little bit of toing and froing on the Facebook. Jake Reesby disagreed with I tried to get him on the show this week actually, but he's off it to Agundawindi, and I do like it when there's differences of opinions, because Josh Ahern was player of the match for Peninsula, and I gave my player of the match to Kato Aochi, and people were going, friendly good man, but it was a really close contest, and the game changed when Kato started going into the box. Once he started making those forward entries, then it gave Charles Mendy a little bit more room, and that was the best game Charles Mendy's played this year. His first half was... But Josh Ahern was just simply magnificent in the first half. He did a great job on Jean-Carlos Saluzano, but I thought Saluzano didn't play very well. Nonetheless, Peninsula deserved the win. The second half performance was great. Rochedale, they were a little stale. They had about 7 corners in the first half an hour, and they couldn't land it anywhere. And I don't know. It was all about the second half. As soon as they kicked off in the second half and they played for 10 minutes, you just had the feeling. Cato scored twice. Both goals were disallowed. And I was on the veranda with the Rochedale supporters and the Peninsula supporters, and he was not offside.
So how is the combination going between Cato and Mendes? It probably wasn't as cohesive as we would have liked early in the season. Is it improving?
Well, it's not really a combination. It was more a case of Cato combining with Jared Austin, Josh Ahern, and someone else, the other player in the midfield there. But that was where the game was won or lost. They were pushing it into Cato, dropping it back, and they just got more and more space. And I think Rochdale would have to put their hand up and say that they probably deserve to lose that game. But what a result for Peninsula. It's just changed their season, hasn't it?
Unthinkable, 6 weeks ago?
Yep.
That they would be coming second?
Indeed, but they are coming second,
They
are going to finish no higher than second. That's my suggestion. A good win there for Peninsula.
A tennis match out at John Fredericks Park.
Indeed.
Holland Park 6-4 in the first set.
Yeah, that was an interesting result. You get these games, these results get thrown up sometimes in the Flight Centre Premier League, and it still comes as a bit of a shock. It was 2-2 at half-time, and we often see, like we saw in that game of Capalaba and Peninsula, it was 3-2 at half-time, and then the second half's a tight contest. But this thing just kicked off. Marek Madley didn't score.
No, but I actually thought he was quite impressive, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you were out there.
No, I wasn't out there.
You weren't out there. Yeah,
called the game for the highlights,
but
I thot he was very impressive in the lead-up play. What a post-match interview from
Shimono.
Yes.
That is the greatest interview we've ever done. It is, is it as good as you can polish bar medals? I'm not sure, but it's still a cracker.
Lucky goals.
It was a very lucky goal, that goal. The one in particular, what a belter.
Oh, two of them were lucky, but the third one, you can't say that was not lucky. That was great. And Azawi also scored a great one of his own as well.
He did. Look, I think Shimoda was lucky he didn't break our GoPro.
Yeah.
Right in the top corner, and a great result for Holland Park. That gives Capalaba a bit of more trouble than they really would have liked.
Yeah, you'd score 4 goals and you'd normally think you'd win, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a tough mountain to climb, but as we know, they've all got to play each other yet. Well, those two don't.
No, they're done and dusted. Meanwhile, Albany Creek just keeping themselves in the finals race, winning the local derby. Another one for them, 4-1 against North Pine.
Yeah, and if you look at the statistics on that game, North Pine were terrible possession-wise, and Albany Creek completely dominated it. I think North Pine ended up with about 37% possession, and that's just not good enough. They have to get themselves up for a game, it seems. They drew 0-0 with Peninsula, and then they got pretty much hammered by Albany Creek. On statistics, you'd think it could have been more, but a good result for Albany Creek, but unfortunately they cannot make the semi-finals.
I don't think they will, but as I say, they're just clawing themselves in there. 2 goals to Riley Campbell on the night in that 4-1 win for Albany Creek.
Rafe non-committal Griffin.
I'd just like to give everyone a chance, all right? I don't think they will, but they're still in there.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
We'll see.
Anyway.
Who else played on the weekend?
East 2, Ipswich Knights 0 on Saturday night at Heath Park.
And I tipped Ipswich to win that one. Yeah.
You've had a great week, haven't you?
Oh, I had a great weekend. I don't think I've got any. Oh, no, I got Lions. No, I didn't. Anyway. Eastern Suburbs. 2 goals to Andy Coyne and Toru Amano. Very important because now they've lost Glockner and Close. They need people to score goals, and they are their 2 attacking backups, really, aren't they? So,
and on the face of it, looks like that they've stepped up to the plate.
Yep. East can make semi-finals, but it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah,
they're going to need to beat all the teams above them.
They've got to keep winning, basically, with 8 games to play.
Yeah, I think they've got all the teams above them to play, which is really handy because if you can beat those teams...
At least you take points away from them.
Exactly. But, that's a handy win. They needed that, and it's congratulations to the Tigers out there at Heath Park. We hope you do really well.
Well, I didn't tip this one. I tipped Mitchelton, but Lions completely annihilated Mitchelton 4-0. There was some poor defence from Mitchelton.
Yeah.
Nathan Shepherd also missed a penalty, so it could have been worse. Lions, despite being down on troops, still got the job done in their second dominant performance against Mitchelton. I think they scored 4 goals against them in the first round as well.
Yeah, Lions were as vulnerable as I've seen them. You know, if you had gone into a game at any time over the last 2 seasons, it would have been that one. You know, down on troops, as you say. Nice war analogy there. And what did they do? They absolutely obliterated Mitchelton. And, you know, there's people out there saying, oh, well, you know, it's not over yet. Well, it is over. That result, Lions will be premiers, and there's no 2 ways around it. Even if they, look, it doesn't matter. They won't lose all their games. They'd be lucky to lose another game.
It's a perfect segue into the table because Mitchelton really did need to win that one to keep it alive. Lions on top. They're now 6 points clear with a game in hand on 31 points. As we talked about before, it's tight. 2nd, 3rd and 4th, Peninsula, Holland Park, Mitchelton, all on 25, but separated by a goal difference. Rochedale just 2 points behind that lot on 23. Capalaba on 22. Logan Lightning 21. East on 20. Albany Creek on 18. And then Ipswich Knights 12, UQFC 8, and North Pine 7.
Yes.
Speaking of premiership races, big result in Capital 4. And we'll probably come back to Capital 1 in a moment as well. Because that was big result. But Capital 4, because we keep on talking about it.
We do.
Caboolture got over St George Wollongong 2-0.
They did. It's that. Well, look, they're promoted now. They'll play Capital League 3 next year. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They, it's up to St George really. Oh, look at St George beat Sanford, so they're the only other competitor for the top 2 spots. So I guess Silverware's on the line, semi-final spots, but I think we can finally put that one to bed. Even though the points table may not mathematically confirm it, it's finally put to bed, and that Caboolture will go up to Capital League 3.
And in Capital 1, a crucial result for Southside Eagles, a 3-2 win against Souths. 2 goals in stoppage time to Southside Eagles through Falco and Foy to claim the 3 points. And Southside Eagles, could they be promoted into the Premier League next year?
There's one thing worth taking into account.
Yes.
Souths were shorn of some of their better players. They had no Brendan Young. They had no Aaron Amerivich. They had no... I'm not sure what's going on with Michael Andrews. He might be a long-term injury at the moment, but they're vital. That's their attacking spearhead and their number 6. So, but I mean, you can't take it away from Southside Eagles. Such a late win. Now, that round of Capital League 1 was just incredible. There was one of the games, look, I can't remember off the top of my head. One of the games was decided in the 80th minute, and that was the earliest winner.
Well, let's quickly go through it then. Centenary and Moggle had a 3-all draw. I think Centenary were up 3-0, and Moggle fought back. Grange Thistle scored the winner in stoppage time, 1-0 over Pine Rivers. Wolves ceded to Mount Gravatt. Mount Gravatt got their first win of the year 2-1. Bayside 1-0 over Taringa, and Brisbane Knights 2-all with Northstate. It's a really exciting league this year at both ends of the table. Yeah, absolutely it is. And Wolves, I don't know, Mark Dykeman's going to have a few problems, I think, because I believe Wolves have played the teams that are lower down the table. So basically Wolves have to beat the teams at the top if they want to stay up. And I think Grange Thistle's second now, aren't they? Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yep, Grange Thistle's second.
As I dive into the ladder.
Yep. Grange Thistle, I believe, are second, South United third, Southside Eagles first. But if you look at those points, Eagles are the only ones with a real gap on the rest. It could go anywhere. And
quickly touching on the other 2, the Gap are runaway winners in
they're
Capital 2. They'd have to fall over it not to win. And Toowong moved to the top of the table in Capital 3 after Virginia drew on the weekend.
Yeah, I have been avoiding mentioning this fellow because I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. He plays for the Gap and his name's Rauhe Noze.
Yes.
How would you pronounce that, Rafe? You're the commentator.
I did pronounce it that way and I got in a lot of trouble, and I think we're doing the Gap not this weekend, the next weekend, so I'll have to practice about that one.
28 goals in 11 games played.
28 goals?
In 11 games played, he scored 5 goals twice, he scored 4 goals once, and he scored at least 1 hat-trick. At least.
And Jamal Spelter has 16, so that's not a bad effort. I'd hate to see what the Capital 4 stats are, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think you get anywhere close to our friend Nose. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I do apologise, but
It's definitely not Nose.
no, I wouldn't think so. It's hard to discern his ethnic heritage.
Japanese.
Yeah, I thought it might be Japanese, but it is an unusual surname. Well, there's no O's or K's. Well,
No, I thought it was unusual.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's not as good a name as Oshi Koshi.
No, I love it. Yoshikoshi was on the bench. I was disappointed. And didn't come on as a sub, I don't think. Thanks, Leo, for that one.
Yep.
That was last weekend.
That was last weekend. It was a really good weekend. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed myself up at Peninsula. There was a really big crowd, actually.
Oh, look, come on, tell everyone, what'd you win?
I won the meat tray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won one of the meat tray. In fact, I'm having some of the meat tray for dinner.
Oh. No one else
Fantastic.
got an
I had the Peninsula Power pork chops. They were just superb. I soaked them in brine and just brilliant.
Anyway, this weekend then.
This weekend.
Flight Centre Premier League. We've got 2 Friday night games in a row.
Yes.
Friday 8:30 out at Tarelwa Park. Mitchelton versus Ipswich Knights.
Well, you would suspect that Mitchelton would win that game just because they're a better team, I guess.
Yeah, hard to say much more than that. They'll need to bounce back from scoring 4 last weekend. I'm sure Leo's worked on defence over the week.
Well, they really need the points. That's all there is to it.
They really need the points.
They need to finish in the top 2. They're not going to get promoted.
Someone else who really needs
the
the
second
points.
tier.
Actually, both these teams need points for different reasons. Saturday night, 5 p.m.
Oh, are you going to tip? No, you're going to tip Mitchelton?
Yeah, I'm tipping Mitchelton.
Yeah, I'm tipping Mitchelton. Yeah.
Anyway, now that you've broken my train of thought.
You've broken my concentration.
Bob Rock, 5
Rock.
p.m. Saturday night, North Pine and Logan Lightning.
Just to defer slightly, I've always wondered about getting around and finding out who all these people are. Who Bob Brock was. Jack Spear. Well, Jack Spear, I did look that up. And Carmichael was the guy who subdivided the land where Carmichael Park is. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, there you go. I'd love to find out who's behind all these names.
Well, you talk about North Pine and Logan, and I'll see if I can find what the heritage is for you, to satisfy your curiosity.
I don't think you'll be able to do it. I know the heritage of Mark Mappus Oval because I played with his son Jimmy, and Mark died of a heart attack, and they named the field after him. So there you go. Anyway, back to more pressing things. North Pine versus Logan Lightning. Well, if the teams of North Pine it turns up that played against Peninsula and played really well, they turn up, they'll have a half a chance of, well, I guess if that's what they did. But if the team that played last week and the team that played against Capalaba, God, this could be anything. I hate to jinx Logan because if I say they're going to thrash North Pine, then they'll probably be my fault when they don't.
They can put 6 against UQFC. They can put 6 against North Pine.
Yeah, look, I think you have to go with Logan FC. And with the players they've got, as you mentioned earlier in the podcast, you'd expect them to keep winning. And this will be the second in a row for sure.
Now, I've got an answer.
Are you tipping Logan?
Yes.
Okay.
The park was named after Robert Thomas Brock.
Oh.
Robert Thomas Brock was the Shire's first state emergency service controller from April 1977 to May 1980.
Oh.
He was a police cadet and an officer in the RAF before becoming an air traffic controller. He campaigned in the 1979 council election, obtaining the highest number of votes in Division 2. He wanted to play the national anthem at the beginning of all council meetings, but he lost his seat in the 1982 election. And just another irrelevant fact, in case you're in any doubt, the club name the Gorillas has no reference to Elmer Park Zoo, also in Dacabin.
I did know that it had no reference. So he was 3 years, he was in the state emergency service. He got voted in as a councillor.
A councillor for 1 term, yep.
And they named the park after him.
And did you know that North Pine...
He's a legend.
North Pine originally played its home games on the Centre Arena at the Launton Showgrounds.
Or did they just?
Anyway, there's some irrelevant information.
Well, there you go. We'll see if we can find some other stuff
Use
out.
that at your next trivia night.
I'm pretty sure Jack Spear was involved at Turinga. I think they named it after one of the club guys.
That'll be for next week.
All right, let's look at the next game. Well, this should be a scintillating, spectacular game, and it's got second place. Absolutely, this could be the game that decides where the teams end up at the end of the season. Holland Park Hawks versus Peninsula Power out at White's Hill.
Indeed.
What's it called, White's Hill? We'll find out.
Oh,
It
we'll
used to
do a
be
special podcast at the end of the season where we'll travel around all the grounds and find out their names, and that'll get
people Facebookers and tell
that'll
us.
get
I'm
2
interested.
listeners.
It used to be a tip, you know that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Holland Park and Peninsula. Wow, this is I don't know.
God, what a game this will be. Both teams have quality all through the squad. We know that. Holland Park, oh God, I couldn't even come to think how I could split these sides. I saw Peninsula last week. They played 90 minutes like they did in the second half, where they're going to have a lot of possession. Holland Park, as we know, they score goals. They've got that whole team out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just too hard to preview this one, apart from saying it's going to be a really close game and it could go down to one single goal, which is unlikely.
Now you're going to get the result of the first time round right this time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah, I always get things wrong. Who won? I can't remember.
I'm about to find. It was a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. I was going to say it was a draw.
Sunday afternoon match out at AJ Kelly Park where...
I was there.
You like that? Jared Austin scored in the 9th and Madeleine the 43rd. I'll go draw again.
Yeah, I was at that game. And, so was... I was sitting with Warren. I'm going to go with I'm going to go Peninsula to win that one. Next game, Rochdale Rovers versus Albany Creek at Thunderwood Park. Rochdale Rovers, a bit of a banana skin, I think, here, because we know that Albany Creek are better than their position on the table suggests. It's got their whole team back, and Rochdale could slip up here. What do you think?
I want Rochdale to win so I can finally kill off Albany Creek and not have to subject myself to your scrutiny every week.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, to scrutinise you. I'll scrutinise you, whatever
Yeah,
you
you're
want.
right. It is a danger game.
It is.
Rochdale, it's not a slump, but...
Not a slump at all. They only lost 1-0.
No, I'm talking about like in recent weeks. You know, they had the cup loss.
Yeah.
Just need to get a win back on the board to try and find some confidence,
A
perhaps.
mini slump, is it?
Coaches hate referring to slumps, so sorry, Scotty Mac.
Scotty Mac. Yeah, look, Rochdale, of course, got lots of quality players around the field. I heard a rumour that a certain Mr. Michael Baird will be back in a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, he was the one that told me, so I reckon it's pretty good. Look, you'd have to tip Rochdale to win, but it's going to be closer than I would have suggested a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to say Rochdale 2-1 and go from there. And you're nodding your head.
Yep, I'm going Rochdale.
Next game of the weekend, Lions Stadium. I'll be out at this game. I haven't been to Lions for 10 minutes. And my car knows how to get there all on its own. I could get there in reverse. Lions FC versus Capalaba Bulldogs. And what an important game this is for Capalaba. If they can win this one, this will change a lot. Can they, Rafe?
Well, lose this one and they might start losing touch of the top 4. So, yeah, it is really a vital game for Jeff Herford and his troops. It's hard to tip against Lions given what they did last week.
I don't think you can tip against Lions at all. If I ever was going to tip against Lions, it would have been last week.
Yeah.
So even with, I'm looking forward to seeing Ahmed Azawi on the big open spaces out there, a nice flat pitch. Should be able to sling a few passes around, but I don't know. Lions, they've got no one and they're still too good. So I'm tipping Lions to beat Capalaba, but I would honestly like to see Lions lose a few games.
Just to make life interesting.
Well, I don't think they can lose the title, but if they can lose a couple of games against the teams in contention, then it'll make that race for the semis even better than it already is, and it's ridiculously good. You're nodding your head again. You forgot we're on the radio, not the TV.
I know we're on the radio. I've said my piece. I don't need to talk all the time.
Okay, the last game of the weekend is at the University of Queensland 7.
It is.
Where
is University of Queensland Oval 7?
We have no idea. Where is it, do you know?
It's at University of Queensland.
Well, is it the one that used to play at the clubhouse, or is it it's not the one with the big grandstand at the rugby boys?
No, that's 5. 3 is the one with the canteen. 7's somewhere else.
It must be behind it, the one that's behind it where they play used to play the juniors and stuff.
If you say so.
All right, anyway, okay. Next game of the round is somewhere at University of Queensland, and University of Queensland are going to get beat by Eastern Suburbs.
Yes, even though UQ have been Eastern Suburbs bogey team in recent years.
Well, you know what I said about bogey teams in Logan last week, don't you?
I did.
So I'm not going with no bogey nonsense at all. I definitely think that Eastern Suburbs will win that one, and that will be very important for them.
Yeah.
In fact, if they don't win it, that's the end of their.
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. You know,
As I said, they've got to keep winning. So
surely they will.
yes, you'd think so.
Yes. Well, that's the roundup from the weekend. We will be out at various games. I hope everyone's watching Euro 2016. I am.
I've tried to.
Yeah.
Occasionally. It's past my bedtime though.
Oh, even better is on the weekend, if you of course have Foxtel, the Copa
America
Centenario. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Isn't that the South American
Aha!
version? No.
No. It's 100 years since the first Copa America.
Oh, of course, Centenario.
The Copa America was last year. This year is the 100th year anniversary, so they are having North America and South America. It's in the United States. So you've got all the teams from CONCACAF, all the teams from CONMEBOL playing at these amazing stadiums in the NFL grounds. It is just sensational. And the games kick off at 9 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. You can't watch it when you're at work, but I watched some incredible football last week. Brazil got knocked out by Peru with a clear handball.
Ah, yes. Did hear about that.
And Costa Rica versus Colombia. They just set out to try and kick each other over the grandstand. That was even better. It was a great... And Costa Rica won, and the fans are going crazy. Look, the Stars and Stripes Forever. I just love that anthem. I just admit it. And when they played it before the USA versus someone game the other day, it's on the back of my neck.
Oh, yeah. After going to a number of sporting events in America last year, it's certainly something special.
Yeah, indeed. But Jurgen Klinsmann cannot sing. I can tell you that much. Anyway, look, I digressed. Welcome
to the podcast of Irrelevant Facts this week, people.
And look, it's what people are asking for. I talked to somebody on Sunday, and they said that it's good listening to the podcast because it's like you're the straight man, and I'm the...
Oh, who knows what you are.
The other thing.
You have forgotten one thing, though.
What
you were supposed to give a shout-out to someone.
Of course. Thank you very much. Gary Evenden, of course, is the coach of the under-20s at Rochedale. And the under-20s is a good... It's a good league. It's a good concept because... It can be hard to step up from the under-18s to the reserves. So it's kind of like what do you call it, like a holding pen. Like you can learn your craft. For the younger players, like they're 17. Anyway, he's just asked me to mention them, and I'm more than happy to do that. They have got 12 from 12, top of the table. And he told me, he said, look, they're a great bunch of lads. He has 2 sons in the team, but as far as he's concerned, he's got 16 sons.
Isn't that nice?
Like sand through an hourglass. So, yes, there you go, Gaz. I'll be seeing you around the trap soon. And thanks for the lift home.
Shame to remind you to do that, eh?
Thanks for the lift home after Mindy's car broke down. That's pretty much it. Is there anything else I've forgotten, Rafe?
No, I don't think so for the time being.
Oh, well, look, I'm going to give you the special chance to wind it up this week. Off you go.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. This is the straight talking fella saying goodbye.
Orf, orf. And I'm the other guy, and we will see you at the grounds on the weekend.